Hi, this is Scott Anderson, Chief Marketing Officer for Intermedia, and I'm here with Bob Nadekow, District Court Administrator for the Eighth Judicial Administration District for the state of Georgia. Welcome. Bob, can you tell me about your role and the organization that you work in?
My district is 27 counties, 10,000 square miles, and I serve 21 judges in the superior courts. I do everything from the fiscal responsibility, paying the bills, budgeting, scheduling. We schedule interpreters, court reporters. We help with judge scheduling. Anything that we can do to keep the judges on the bench and doing what they do best, we do behind the scenes, and that's my job. Handling the technology responsibilities as well as all the other support stuff lets me kind of push in a direction that I think is best for the district, and that's where intermediate stuff's come in.
When the pandemic first hit, what were the types of discussions you had?
Prisoner transports, for one thing. You've got people coming from different jails to different courtrooms. You got your social distancing spaces. You got your masks. You got your cleaning of the courtrooms in between. Hearings via remote video conference. We have to have a way to live stream them or let people come into the conference and watch it. Some folks were using Zoom, which doesn't work quite as well. Then you face the risk of somebody saying, "Hey, I want to be part of this meeting," and then they're popping stuff up on the screen. So you've got all new kinds of issues that
Right.
never had faced before.
So now is it a little bit remote, a little bit in the courtroom?
So we're doing kind of a combination of being in the room and live streaming broadcasts.
And from an IT perspective, how do you approach it?
A couple different ways. One, we have the Wi-Fi in the local courthouse. All the judges worried about when I go into the courtroom, can I get on the internet? Can I reach my staff? Can I see my calendar? That kind of stuff. And then there's the bigger thing, like with my district, I've been with Intermedia for pretty sure almost 10 years. Best move I ever made was hosting that out. I haven't thought about it in 10 years. I'm sold. It was the best thing that I ever did was host out the things that I don't have the time or the resources to manage myself.
From a judicial perspective, I imagine that security is pretty important. As you're considering your different IT options, how does security play a role there?
Oh, it's major. I mean, we have to make sure that the judges' files are secure. We've got confidentiality with all of the court records. They're passed from clerks to judges to staff, especially now in this time of COVID. A lot of my folks are all working remote. So I will have a judge at their house, a law clerk in one place, clerk of court in another building, maybe the judge's assistant somewhere else. And that ability to be able to connect to each other, pass files back and forth, make sure that our shared calendars are all current and updated. And by having a calendaring system like we use with the hosted exchange, I don't have to worry about it. If they can get on the internet, that stuff's right there and everybody's where they need to be.
How about file sharing? When you're talking about court reporting and evidence, how does that get shared when you're remote?
Well, again, not to make you guys feel too good, but SecureSync was the second best decision I ever made. The cool thing is, if I got a judge on the bench in location A, his law clerk's in location B, secretary in C, he does something, he saves it. Law clerk says, "Okay, I see what you did. Let me make the changes." They fix it, send it to the secretary. Secretary proofreads it, saves it. Judge has got it back in their hands. There's no faxing, there's no emailing, there's no sending documents back and forth. And being able to share that, for example, if I've got one circuit with 5 judges, 5 secretaries, 3 law clerks, they all share one set of files for their records. We can pass stuff back and forth. Technology is everything. Having the right infrastructure in place makes the difference. The fact that I had my own server here, I could manage it, I could do things I wanted. If I wanted to give someone access, I could. But I finally realized that the people that were managing it for me knew better than I knew what was best for me. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can do this, but it opens up this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't really think about that. Okay, that's why I'm paying you to do this.
When you exit the state of emergency, do you think things will go back to the same? Are there things that are different that you've learned?
We are realizing that there are better ways to do things. For example, with the video conferencing, we probably never could have gotten some of our judges to agree to do something via video conference. Whereas now, if we have an expert witness that they want to testify from Michigan, there's no reason to fly that person down, spend all that money, do all that. We can bring them into our courtroom, have them testify, have everybody involved in the conference, have them ask the questions and all that, and save not only time, money, scheduling for all parties. So I really think we've learned that there are better ways, that maybe we were a little bit satisfied before, a little bit complacent, that we've seen there's better ways to do things.
And if you could share something with other learnings with other district court administrators across the country, what advice would you give them?
I pay that monthly bill and I don't think about it again. I don't have to worry about maintaining software levels. I don't have to worry about checking security patches. I don't have to worry about, do I have anything that can get broken into? Is my firewall right? managing that, knowing that there's databases on other ends of the country, it's redundant. One fails, the other picks up again. It takes the responsibility for that back end communication part out of my hands and lets me focus on more things that can benefit the judges. Plus, by having a system the way we did, where everybody shares the same email, domain, and we can share calendars and schedule events and look for open courtrooms and stuff, that just takes a big load off. And I think sometimes people say, well, I don't have the really money to do this, but I don't know if you can put a price on knowing it's always going to be there and your judges are always going to have what they need and let you focus somewhere else.
Yeah, sounds like you had a lot of things on your mind, a lot of changes to get done, and the value was you didn't have to worry about that. It was just
Correct.
there. It was working.
Right. Correct. Correct. And working is good.
Bob, that's all the questions I had. Thank you for taking the time with us today, and thank you for being an Intermedia customer.
Absolutely.